Hello
Hey guys,
welcome again to another exciting, amazing episode Forever Together with the Ekimas.
yes, we are back with the second episode. Thank you guys for the reviews. Thank you guys for watching us. Our first video, the feedback we got was overwhelming.
Sure.
And so we are back. Today we discuss something very exciting.
Ekima Emmanuel,
Daphne Ekima, and
we
together we are the
Ekimas.
we need to get used to to that intro. Yeah, so today we discuss how we met.
Yeah.
We go back down memory lane. We believe that this will help us help you guys get to know us better. But I mean, who doesn't like to go back to where they started? Yeah, so we're excited about this one. Please stay along, don't go off, subscribe if you haven't subscribed,
Hit the notification bell.
yes, so that you're reminded every time we upload a video
Sure.
like this one. Yeah, so
Okay, let's dive into it straight away.
okay.
Christ in the center. Welcome to forever. This is our perfect synchrony, like leather and feathers. No matter the weather, we can storm the umbrellas. Take a stroll in my heart. Let's take this further when I'm beside you, baby. See my stakes get better. Let me bet it all. Destiny vendettas. Rosy the emotional description of this love. I am yours, you are mine. The only thing that matters now. We are the Ekimas.
So welcome back, baby.
Yes. How we met? How did we? I think you should go first. Do you want to go first? You should go first
Of
because I
course.
think.
I recall the memories more than you.
Oh God. No,
So,
you go first because
I think we met the first time we
you
interfaced
think.
with.
Oh, you.
I don't think.
You know.
It was around 2014 during debate. You were
Inter-university
in
debate
inter-university
championship.
debate championship that were held at Victoria University. So you were on the other team. I was on the other team.
Yeah,
And
we're
then,
both representing the university.
we're both representing universities, and our roles were the same, more the same. Our role was to basically to rebut whatever the other colleague says, whatever the first speaker says, and we share the same role. That's how funny life is. But I think it's from that time when I saw you, I told the colleague I was debating with, I was like, wow, that lady is a good wife material.
Okay.
But what happened, I think we never got time to exchange, to talk.
Yeah.
We never really. And I hoped that maybe the next time you come back, we'll get that opportunity. Maybe I will say hello, maybe get your number. But
The chance never happened.
The chance never came. I waited, and you never came back for the debate. And I think it was God's timing, really.
Yeah,
Because
I think actually at that time, I think we came for the first day. It was supposed to go on, I think, for like a week. And then somehow we just never returned.
Yeah.
But what is very interesting is that I don't have a recollection of that time very well. Like, you remember, but I actually don't. No, I remember the competition and all. What I recall is that I was just out there to,
do your best.
to win whoever, like to beat, to knock down whoever was on the opposite side. And I actually don't recall you. That is what is very funny. But I think we talked, right? I remember the guys that were on the opposite side, and we had an exchange.
The
We
exchange,
talked.
yeah, before, yes.
Yeah. So we
But I
never
think-
met again.
We never, until...
So what was making you say that? Oh, wife material. What
I think
was
I love the fact that you are assertive. You are not an easy person. You are not bullied, and that's one something that I loved. So
I was actually bullying you instead. Was
no,
I?
you didn't bully me because But that fact that you are assertive and you are standing up and you are not just being bullied or taking any easy punches, I love that about you. And I was like, wow, this can be a good wife material. She can challenge me in but that was that. I think if we had met by that time.
And also, just maybe first, before you go so far, I think there's a lesson there for the guys out that sometimes the one can be on the opposite side. Like you all, you don't have to agree. You don't have to be on the same side. You don't like you don't have to hit it off on the word go. But the one can actually be on the opposite side. So guys, don't. It's not so obvious. It's never obvious that you're going to be, you know. Yeah, it can be someone on the other side.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So so we don't meet again. I think from that time actually we lost contact. We never got to meet again until around 2017. So maybe let's just talk about so looking back, we actually appreciate the fact that we never again, so one of the lessons I want us to pick out of this is that God works in mysterious ways. Like God's plan is perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So had we started either dating at that time, I don't think we would have ended up married.
I think so, because I think
you think we'd end up getting married, or we wouldn't?
No, I think we wouldn't have ended up married. At that time I was in a different, I don't know, a different place. I didn't put my life together. I was still a boy, young boy, enjoying exploring. So I doubt we would have connected, even led to marriage, if we had met that by that time. I think God had not yet worked on me by that time, so I wasn't yet ready for that step as a person.
And so was I as well. I was
still just exploring and enjoying the world. And for you?
The same really. So we've talked about this before. Where we were at was really, I mean, I was not born again. Okay, I had gotten born again way before, but at that point in my life, I was really not dating intentionally. I mean, the relationships I was in were just for, let's see where this goes, and God had not worked on me. So I think it was God's plan that we do not have anything at that time, because really we were in a dark place. So in hindsight, we look back and we actually thank God. Yeah,
surely.
That because it would have ended in tears.
As they say, surely it would have ended in tears. Because at that time I was not really in Christ.
Yeah.
I was in another place.
Yeah. So fast forward. Yeah, so we eventually meet again, and that was at LDC. We're doing a bar course. So those who don't know LDC is the Ugandan bar for lawyers. And what is interesting to know that God really works in mysterious ways is you were actually ahead of me. So we were never in the same class. You were about 3 years ahead of me, and
2 years.
2 or 3? 2, eh? Okay. Yeah. So you were ahead of me. Ideally, you should have done LDC before me. But you first went into work. You first worked, and then later joined LDC. So at the time you were joining LDC, I was joining LDC straight from campus. And that is when our paths
crossed again.
Yeah, so that was 2017.
2017, yes.
Yeah, so when did we first meet at LDC? What's your version?
So I think, at LDC we met through friends, but of course we kept on interacting because it's a small community.
Yeah.
So it was easy to interact. I think I remember sometime we just met and it was hi, hello. We never went into details of exchanging again contacts. Again, it continued the hi bit of it. I think because of the busy schedule at LDC, so there was no much time to engage into maybe say these other conversations. But it so happened that after the IA on a Friday, those who don't know IA, it's individual assessment
okay.
that we do at LDC every Friday. We used to do it every Friday. So after the paper, we do and we are done. The follow-up came up.
But wait, baby, I think something is being missed.
Oh, sure.
Sorry, I know it's your version.
I know, okay.
So, actually, our first time of meeting, I think we were having a discussion. You were having a discussion with your farm, and I was having a discussion with my farm.
Wow, I missed the most important part.
That was the very first time we met and had contact. You guys, this guy. This guy
okay, I'll say
vibed
that.
me with G-nuts.
I think I remember. I had forgotten that part.
Let me share the story which you were skipping. So, to talk to me, the first interaction I had with this guys, he sent a guy who was selling G-nuts. Sentongo, famous Sentongo. Sent a guy who was selling G-nuts, and he told the guy, please give these G-nuts to that girl. And I'm just there, serious, by the way. This is very serious, for those who don't know. And I see the guy tap me in a discussion, like someone has given you G-nuts, like friends.
Who does that?
Who does that? What kind of vibe is that?
That was a weak vibe.
But I was like, yo.
But
that was what was available. So another lesson maybe for the guys is that use what is there.
Whatever is there, for sure. You don't need to get into these fancy things, but at the opportunity time, because you may miss the opportunity because you're trying to get the perfect time, you're trying to get the perfect gift. So I believe use whatever resources that are available for you. And
at the time, yeah. And what is interesting, actually, yeah, it was all about starting. Because what's funny is, it actually intrigued me. However weird it was, like it got me wondering. I'm like, okay, who is this guy? Like, so it actually worked, because I was like, okay, this is interesting. this guy must be very, very confident to do this. So and it was also out of the ordinary. Ordinarily, someone would like stop you and then be like, oh, I'd like to talk to you. So after that, I think after the discussion, I told you, oh, thank you, by the way. However funny these are, thank you. And I remember we joked about it, and that was the beginning of our friendship. So indeed, it did start a conversation. It
started a conversation. I think the most important thing by then was to start a conversation.
That was your goal.
I remember we were having a discussion, and I was like, said to take those G-nuts that side, and my colleagues are like, who does that? No, you don't. I'm like, no, please take. But I think it teaches us that whatever is there to start a conversation, it's just good. Just use
well, it might work or it might not.
That's true. It may work, it may not work.
Well, it worked for him.
But it worked.
So yeah, we later had our official date at
Nawab.
Yeah. So yeah, at least it was the starter. It got me to talk to him. So yeah, you were saying the next. So what you were calling a first time of meeting, I think, was the second time.
Second time, yes.
When you walked up to me, I think this was another during and after an IA.
Yeah, that was, I think, now the second time. But I think why I called it the first, because that's now when we really had.
That's when you actually got
deep,
my number.
Yes, that's when I got your number. That's when we had that deep conversation.
Yeah.
Which, after I met her, after the IM, so I go, we start a conversation. I say, hello, how are you? We exchange pleasantries. And so I think what was shocking, I talked about very many things. I may not dive into many of them. But the most catching thing on that day was the fact that you asked me my birthday.
Did I ask you? You asked
me.
I
asked you, yes.
No, I asked you. I don't know how it came up anyway, yes. But I think you were the first to mention it, so I think I asked you.
Yes.
And then you said 23rd
23rd
December.
December. And you're like,
And that happens to be my birthday as well. So I was like, this guy, first it's the G-nuts, now it's faking my birthday. Like really, you have to have other
reasons.
You have to have other cards to pull, really, not that. Because as like, have I written this on my... I actually thought you had gone like on my Facebook and gotten my birthday. And then come, and then you're telling me, oh, by the way. Yeah, oh, by the way, I was also born on 23rd December, so...
That can be weak vibe, baby.
Yeah, that's what I thought at the time anyway.
Yeah.
So I remember I asked you, and I'm like, really? You're like, yeah, that's my birthday. And I'm like, you're like, why? And I'm like, well, that's my birthday as well. And the shock, I mean, we're all like, what? So that was the second time. But I want to speak something about the place I was at that time. I think we were both at. Maybe we can speak to that. So just in hindsight, so my history with dating is about 2 years before we met, 2 or 3 years. Like we had said earlier, I had been in relationships that, you know, were just not purposeful, not without any goal really, just dating, and there's not purposeful really, and they were not God-led. So 2 years before we met, God had instructed me to stop dating. So I had a dream, and in that dream God was telling me, you need to take a minute. It was not just a dream. I had a dream, and then through so many people coming to me and confirming that the season I was in, I needed to start finding my identity in Christ. So I was actually dating someone at the time, and God specifically told me I needed to end that relationship. It was very hard, but I had to, because I needed to find who I was. I had this toxic view of what relationships were and marriage, that I think if I had gotten into a marriage at that time, or with that mindset, the marriage would have ended before it started. So for me, I was all about, you know, get into a relationship with selfish interests. I believed men are all cheats, men are trash, men just want to use you, men do not, like, that was my view, and that was because of the relationships that I had been in before. And so I was dating with that in mind, like, go in, don't invest in anything, get out as much as you can. It was really, really, really selfish. So God told me to stop dating, and it was hard, but I had to. And I thank God for those 2 years, guys. I thank God for those 2 years, because they refined me. They refined me. I started understanding what God's intention of relationship was, marriage was. It was a whole change, transformation of mind, yeah? I started to realize that, you know, what the whole institution of marriage really was about. And I remember telling God, when the time is right for me to date, you will tell me. When the time is right for me to date, you will tell me. And when the right person comes, you'll be the one to instruct me to, and not the other way around. So why am I giving this background? It's to encourage someone out there. If God has instructed you to leave a certain relationship, be it because it's toxic, be it because it's not honoring to God, maybe you're not doing it the God way, and you feel God is leading you to cut off that relationship, do not harden your heart. Do not disobey God, because He has a lot in store for you, and He probably has a season of undoing that He has to do in your life.
Yes.
And when, at the time I met you, just before LDC, I got a dream again, and God was telling me. So I dream a lot. God speaks to me a lot through dreams. So at that time, I got this dream, and the message was, you are going to date again while at LDC. And I actually saw our wedding. I saw you in my dream, exactly as you are. So at the time we met, I actually knew where this was going. I knew where this was going. So anyway, before we go there, which place were you at? Maybe you can share.
During that time, I was dating, but I had met a brother.
You were dating when we met?
No, I'm saying during that time.
The time before or the time?
The time before I was dating, and of course it was more of the same, not purposeful, not God-led. But I met a brother, Julius, who led me to Christ, and we walked together in that path, and he was trying to. So I got to understand God also more and more during that time with him. And every relationship I tried, or in case I was going to enter into, we had to pray about it. Is it the right relationship? Is it God-led? Is it God's will? And so by the time you found me, by the time I found you, I just wanted to date a relationship that was leading to something. Actually, I had promised, and I told God that I don't want to be in another relationship whereby it's not going to lead to marriage. So that's the time I was at understood God more. God had come into my life, and my perception and my view of relationship and marriage were totally a bit different, were godly, and I was looking at something that was really God's will and God's intention. So about you, fast forward, when we met, I think it's one of the weakest lines I've ever used. I'll call them the weakest, because I met you and I had to open up. I'd never done that. You know, the first thing, normal thing.
Yeah, guys.
It's I'm this.
Trying to put their
yes,
best
I'm
foot
trying
forward.
to. Of course, you have to put out your best shots out there so that you impress the person. But I don't know, something was, I think it was spirit-led. I came to you and I was so open to you. I told you about myself, my past, who I was.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but I think I opened up myself in a way that I had never opened up before. So I shared with you who I was, what I did back then.
The good and ugly.
The good and the ugly.
Yeah.
In terms of, and I think what stood out was the fact that I even told you that if it's not God into our relationship, then it's okay. I think, but let's pray about it and then maybe say confirm. But it was something that was so deep. I think I opened up in a way that I'd never opened up before, and I felt comfortable. I think thank you also for creating that space for me to really open up. And I remember going back and talking to my friend, and I was like, wow, I think I don't know, I must have made a blunder. I just put out my bad out there and I didn't say anything good about myself. I don't know, but God works in an amazing way.
Now, just to speak to that, sorry for interjecting. Now, interestingly, that was one of the things that attracted me about you, yeah? So one of the insecurities that I had, that God had to deal with during those 2 years was insecurities. I had insecurities. Like I've said, I always believed that, men were just, these monsters that were out, and that was because of the relationships that I'd been in, yeah? So they were just out to be selfish, to not invest in their all, to not show you who they truly are, just use you all. It was all very negative. And I remember God always telling me, no, there are good men out there. there are men out there who are interested in investing into their relationships. And, you know, I know many women out there get, you know, that's the vibe. Everyone says, oh, men are ABCD, men are trash, men are this. And it's so easy to believe it, yeah? I had believed it because God was always telling me that there were good men out there. But I didn't for sure know if I would actually find one, yeah, like for me. But I knew because God had said it. Yes, and I had seen other couples. I had walked. So during that time, I tried to, because I was in church, involved in church, doing ministry. I had worked with couples who had dated the Christian way, who were married. And I realized that it's actually possible. Okay. There are actually good people out there. So for you, when you were vulnerable to me, what you thought was putting your worst foot forward or not doing the game well, was actually, God was actually using you to heal something in me that I had battled for so long. My God. Okay. Yeah, so and
it gets emotional.
Yeah, so for me, that is what God was doing, but you didn't know that at the time. Yeah, so God was doing that, yeah? Yeah. And what he was telling me was, and I remember there's a day we talked till very late, like we talked till like 3 a.m.
3 a.m., yes, I remember.
From like 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
And we're just talking about life. Yes. And you opening up to me was just even more confirmation. So I had had the dream about you, but as I listened to you, it's like God was just telling me, you know, this is what I had always told you. I had always told you. So, and maybe you say I created a comfortable environment, but that comfortable environment was because I saw a different side than I for so long believed. And then what you mentioned about when you said, you know, if it's not God's will, I remember you told me, let me go and pray about it. If it is not God's will, then we are not going to go forward with this. That also seemed like, you know, to another person it would be like, this guy is not so much into me. But for me, I was like, wow, wow, this guy puts God before me. For me, that is what I was looking for. I was just like, wow, I want a man who looks to God in order to lead me. Because human beings, we are not, you know, we can't, as men or as human beings, we are not capable of being good leaders, yeah? So our husband's role is to lead us, but if he is not being led by Christ, then where is he leading me to? Sure. So for me, in that moment, I saw that. And it was one of the things also that made me think, oh, wow, this. So I think the lesson there is to be honest. Yeah, sure. Be who you are. It's good. The person will love you for who you are.
Who you are. You don't need to fake or try to please somebody with some things. So I think for me, and when I went back, really, we had prayers and God spoke to me and.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm interjecting. I know, it's okay. I'm so sorry. Okay. So before that, let me just speak to. So you always asked me. So if you knew that.
Yeah.
Were you just playing?
Were you playing hard to get? If you knew I was the one.
Yeah. Why did you just say it? So why I didn't is because I feel like it's manipulation to come up to someone and tell them, "Oh, God told me you're my husband." Oh, God told me. I didn't want that. And I told God, if indeed you have spoken to me, you have walked with me this journey, you know how much this part of my life has been, yeah? Because God was doing a lot of work in me in that area. I said, God, if you were able to walk this journey with me, speak through with me all through to this point, I want you to speak to him. Let it come from him. So it's not that I was playing hard to get, but I wanted God to hear from you. And actually, when you told me, oh, God has to first speak to me about this. Yes. I mean, I was like, wow. I never told you that I had gotten the dream, revelation about it. I was just like, wow, God, do the work on him. Number 2, I also wanted us to build an emotional connection, yeah? Not that I didn't believe that God can do it, but I think for a marriage to be strong, it's more than just two strangers saying, oh, let's go get married, yeah?
God has said.
Yeah, we needed to also have that connection. So I wanted that as well. That was what I wanted, yeah? So that is why I didn't talk about it. So you were talking about how you got confirmation.
I think for me, as I told you, my main intention was if God was in it, then we move forward. I think I had not done that in my previous relationships I was in. It was more of myself, and I wasn't looking at what God was saying. But at that time, I was really in Christ, so that was my focus. I said, let me go and pray about it. Let God communicate to me. Because I wanted to walk in the God's, not just even the will of God, the perfect will of God. That's what I wanted to walk in. And, marriage is not a one-time thing.
Yeah, it's a lifetime.
It's a lifetime commitment that you have to make. So I didn't want to make a commitment that is not in God's perfect will. I wanted it to be in God's perfect will, and then we can move on with that commitment. And once the time we went and we prayed, and through various fellowships with my colleagues, and then the revelation came. Then another person confirmed to me as we were praying. I was like, wow. I had not told the person that, I'm considering, I'm considering marriage or dating this other person. But as we were praying, the person tells me that, you know what? She's the one. So once I got that confirmation, I was now confident that let me go and date. This dating is not only just going to, of course, by that time, we are not yet, why am I saying dating? We are not yet started even dating. So
but I think, actually, we had not said the word we are dating, but
we were acting,
not acting, what I think
we were friends.
We were friends, we cared about each other, we looked out for each other,
So that happened, then one thing happened. I think during that time at LDC, I fall sick. So I was admitted in Novik. So you learned about it and you came. And guys who don't know LDC, it's a busy place. Very, very busy. Every second, you don't have time even to take a cup of tea or water. That's what I can say. It's so busy, it's so intense. It's a marathon. So I fell sick and I was admitted, and then you came to check on me. You really took good care of me, and wow, I was so impressed by your care, and you really cared, baby, and you cared for me in a way that I could not explain. That touched me so much. That moved me so much. You went out of your will. You brought for me breakfast. I don't know even if you remember. You brought for me breakfast.
I was there the whole time until you were discharged. I think.
You were there the entire time.
And we were not dating at that point.
Yes, we were not even dating. And that moved me. I was so touched because one, we had sent her so busy. Anytime, everybody, it's time for books. So that touched me. You spared your time to come and be with me the whole day until I was discharged. And I was like, wow, this is indeed God sent. I was really impressed by that.
And I think that was before you got the confirmation.
Yes,
right?
that was before I actually got the confirmation that you are the one. But that kind love you showed me, that care you showed me really moved me so much, and I was like, God. speak to me.
This better be her.
This better be her. So, but it was really touching. That time.
And the other thing, okay, so I guess we were supposed also to discuss what made us, what confirmed to us.
Yeah.
What are those things that made us feel like, we had found the one? So I feel like already in this whole story, we've kind of hinted on it. The other thing on my end, so you said the care, then the fact that God spoke about it for both of us. For me, like I said, it was the sense of security. Yeah. So women thrive on security. Security is not, it's many ways, but part of security is the feeling, that knowledge that someone, feeling safe and secure in someone. So I felt very secure in you by the mere fact that you were so vulnerable with me, but also you are actually also very caring. I saw how kind you are. Yeah, guys, this guy is so kind. Yeah? This guy is so kind to even like strangers, to the people. I could see how you related with your friends, with your family. You were so caring with your family, so caring with your friends, and that moved me. Like, you would go out of your way to do things for people. You'd go out of your way to just take care of people, be it whether financially or in every sense of the word. You were there for people. That drew me to you. And then the other thing on my end was how down to earth you were. So guys, this guy knows everyone from top to bottom, for lack of a better classification. So I don't like classifying people by that, but he will know everyone. So that guy who gave me Jonathan, that guy was his good friend, very, very, very good friend. Be it
actually Mzee. Was Mzee Sentongo.
Yes, yes. He was his very good friend. Be it that, like, even in our marriage, I have seen that. I mean, that, like, it was one of the things that drew me to him. He will know the person from, like, the guy who, I don't know, does what, like, whichever rank you can imagine, and he has their contacts, not just knowing, but he'll be having the guy's contact, and he will have jazz with him to that topmost person. Yeah, so that attracted me to you, the fact that you were so down to earth. I saw the values of Christ in you. Yeah, the Christian values. And maybe I wanted to mention something for people watching. So anyway, you go for, no.
Yep.
So you know how you say you're looking for a Christian? Yeah, many people ask, what does that look like? For me, what was important to me was looking at not just the guy who was an intercessor or was a pastor, or no,
surely.
It was about the values,
The connection.
the values, their relationship with God, and their fear of God. In other words, their fruit.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because those are the things that will later impact your marriage.
Yes.
It is not, yes, prayerfulness and all that are important, but someone's patience, someone's values, someone's level of honesty, someone's kindness, those are the things that will test your marriage.
Sure.
Those are the things that will come into question when you're married. So you need to look out for the fruit of the Spirit in the person, not just the fact that they attend church at place A, B, C, where you go, but what are their values? Yeah. So I saw that in you, and that is what drew me to you.
I think I was telling you, one of the things that drew me to you, I will not forget it, and I keep reminding you, is the fact that you are assertive.
Yeah.
You know, different people try to conform or try to change their ways because maybe they are getting into relationship. Mainly when it comes to ladies, you maybe they say you must be.
Actually, I was told so many times, I wonder the kind of man will marry you because you're so assertive.
Yeah.
Because
so,
you're so assertive. So for me, that was actually shocking.
So for me, I liked that you were challenging. I believe it touched me so much. I was like, wow, she's so challenging. She's assertive. She stands her ground, and I like that aspect about you. And I was like, yeah, I think that informed my first decision that this is a wife
because
material.
that was in 2014, the first time we met.
Yes, first time we met, and we had not talked that much to know your other values, but also the Christian values that you shared by then. You were really so grounded. Your love for God was next to none, and of course, I wanted somebody who will grow with me, and in case when we have our kids.
Yeah,
you
want to
which kind of values do we want to instill in our kids? So that was, I think, another plus. Then the aspect of course, care. I've talked about care. You care a lot. You cared for me, so I saw not only me but your siblings, even your friends. You really cared about them. You had your crew that you moved with. So I loved that about you. I was like, wow, this is somebody really that can take care of us, can take care of our family, can take care of our kids. Then baby, you're knowledgeable. That's another aspect. You're really so knowledgeable, not only in terms of you're knowledgeable in all aspects. Be it in you really put you are the debater, So you're really knowledgeable, and that was something nice that I liked. And the conversations, up to now we can have conversations up to midnight.
Yeah, we wake up in the middle of the night.
We wake up in the middle of the night and we talk. Then the aspect of talking also, by the way, that's so funny, but
we are both
talkative. So
it's so interesting that how people say that, okay, the common thing is that usually opposites attract, or
yes,
people like who are opposites are usually married. Yeah, usually people are married on the opposite side of the personality circle. So for us, actually, we fall in the same. We are both cholerics. We are both cholerics, sanguine cholerics, but majorly cholerics. So it's so interesting that I don't know if that has a lot to do with even our birthdays being the same, our birth dates rather, or I don't know, but yeah, we are the like poles which attracted.
Sure, we're the exception to the general rule. But I think, not even I think, I believe God had designed us, that designed our marriage, and He had a purpose in why He created me and you, and why He knew that we had to come in future, meet and marry and start this marriage. I think that's something that stands out. God really plans for us.
Yeah, He
and
does.
God's timing is, I think, not even I think, but God's timing is the best timing.
Yeah. Don't try to, if the time has not come, and I know it sounds like people say it, people say it as if it's so easy. It can be hard especially if you desire marriage and you're ready, but you feel like the time is not coming. Just wait for God's timing. In that time, you can use it to find who you are. Sure. Find who you are, because guys, God is the one who has designed marriages. I know we are going to be talking about marriages as we go. The truth is, He is the author of marriage, and you want to do it His way. So the best thing to do is to be very, very, very intentional about finding the right person.
Yeah, sure.
Because whether you find the right one or the wrong one, once you're married, you're in a covenant. And you must work it out. Yeah. So the preparation stage, I feel like this video is more for the people who are not yet married. The preparation stage, which is in your singlehood, use it as a time to cultivate your personality. Guys, if we had gotten married at the time we did, you had your own issues, I had my own issues. I was recently telling a friend that if I had gone into marriage with the selfishness that I had, the idea that I am going to keep my things to me, and the idea that I'm just going to go into the marriage but not fully be in, I think our marriage would have ended before it starts.
I think so. Even me,
Yeah.
if you had met me then, I was a totally different Ekima.
Yeah. So allow God to deal with you, to deal with those issues. There's always something to be dealt with. And pray for your future spouse. Eventually they will come, whether it takes how many years, whether they will eventually come.
I think for me, in all this, I was reminded by the story of Sarah and Abraham, whereby God promised them a child, and it took them 15 years almost, and Sarah almost gave up. I was like, actually she gave up, like, have my maid and you have a child. So they
interfering with the plan of God.
Interfering with the plan of God, thinking that maybe God's plan was taking long.
Yeah.
And they were seeing it in their human
eye,
and yet God had already ordained it, and He knew that at the right time she will give birth.
Yeah.
And so, with that story, I'm reminded that let's be patient. God's word, as we said, does not go in vain.
In vain, it will come to pass. Yes, it will come to pass.
So once God speaks to your life about marriage, it will
even
come.
That desire that He has put in your heart.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I think for me that stands out from our story, and
trust God's timing, guys.
God's timing is always the best.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you for joining us for another episode of Forever Together with the Ekimas.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, it's always sad to say bye. We feel like talking till forever, but we must say bye.
And we shall meet again.
Till next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you.